In a world with any number of powered individuals mucking about, it is only sensible to assume that they would come together to form groups and organizations. The Undersiders are one such group. Based in Brockton Bay, the Undersiders for a time mainly operated as a group of young thieves with a preference for quick and minimal conflict activities. Though, after certain events, they more often found themselves in extended direct conflict with various other groups and organizations. The five people that can be described as core members are Skidder, Tattletale, Gru, Regent, and Bitch, or Hellhound, if that makes you feel more comfortable. Anyway, Skidder's power can be simplified as merely controlling arthropods. However, she does have a variety of secondary benefits due to the latter. She has enhanced multitasking capabilities, can, to a point, divert her emotions to her insects, and can perceive varying levels of sensory information depending on swarm size and other factors. In terms of limitations, she can be hampered by the amount of available bugs and type of bugs of a given area, and while her control range varies throughout the story, it can range from between 161 meters or 528 feet to 5 blocks. Bear in mind, the exact distance of a block is not universal. Additionally, as one can imagine, anything or anyone particularly resistant to bugs or highly capable of exterminating bugs are points of concern for her. The PRT generally classified her as a master, but some of the ways she used her powers could have placed her in other classifications. Moving on. Telltale's power is a little hard to explain. A simple description is that in addition to having enhanced intuition, she is able to deduce and infer a significant amount of information for very little given data. Her extrapolated information tends to be accurate, but she needs to actively focus her power on a given topic and have useful and relevant data for her power to be effective. Additionally, because of the nature of her power, should she take incorrect or useless information into account, the conclusions her power outputs can be significantly off base. Besides the latter, other possible limitations include analyzing too much information or general power overuse that results in her suffering mental overload to the point of severe migraines. And should she suffer several periods of the latter, her power can be put out of commission. Also, as Tattletale herself notes, using her power on people is difficult. I will note that according to the writer of Worm, he describes Tattletale as a paracog. She receives information surrounding a given focus to form a conclusion instead of information relayed from the past or future like a postcog or precog. At least that's how I understand it. It's not strictly knowing what will or can happen or what did or could have happened, but knowing what could be or can be based on so and so. Anyway, the PRT classified her as a thinker. Gru arguably has the most versatile power. He has the ability to generate a mass of smoke like darkness. Said darkness blocks out light and mutes sounds for anyone or thing within it. Additionally, it interferes with electromagnetic radiation and certain breaker powers. Also, to an extent, Gru can form shapes out of his darkness. I will note that his darkness does not affect him. He knows where it is and when something is affecting it, but it does not impair his hearing or vision. Now, determining how far he can spread his darkness is somewhat difficult to pinpoint. He was able to shroud a bank lobby and several streets, but the latter two were of indeterminate size and we didn't have a clear idea on how the darkness was spread out, though it seems to be expansive enough to confuse pursuers on which way his team went during an escape. In terms of weaknesses, strong enough winds can blow away his darkness, and capes that don't need sight or hearing to be effective may present an issue or two. As for classifications, he was a shaker and a stranger. Regent's power is fairly simple. He can target parts of the human body to cause involuntary movement. Said movements can range from twitching and jerking body parts to, in certain situations, influencing internal organs. A significant limit is that his range is relatively small. I want to say several yards, or at least a distance from the ground to the top of a storage unit, with some change, I suppose. Perhaps shouting distance? Well, it goes without saying, but he is classified as a master. Oh, and one last tidbit. Since he is a master that influences humans, he is resistant and can even interfere with other human-based masters. Anyway, let's end this off with Bix, or like I said earlier, Hellhound if you like that. The basics of her power is that she can empower canines. She typically directly contacts them to power them up, but she can do it at range. The power-up itself significantly increases their size, and in doing so enhances their strength, durability, and agility, with the added benefit of becoming rideable. Additionally, when she powers her canines up, they grow bone plates and spikes, and become resistant to pain. An interesting detail of her power is that it's more effective on wolves and wild canines over domesticated dogs. The former are sleeker, stronger, and cause less strain on her. While she is classified as a master, she does not control her canines directly like how Skitter controls her bugs. It can be argued that her power made it easier for her to relate to and interact with canines, but her power is strictly powering them up. As it were, her most notable weakness is that she does not inherently control her canines, and has to train every one of them to respond to whistle and verbal commands. If she loses one, she has to train a new one from scratch. Additionally, while wild canines do seem to be stronger, they take more time to train. It is also pertinent to know that when she adds extra master canine, she has to be careful how much she adds, or else they may lose some of the benefits they receive from being powered up. As a final note, she can power up multiple canines at a single given time, but Bix does have a limit. Her power tires her out, and the faster she powers up one of her canines, she tires out faster. Her power also does put a strain on her canines. Evidently, due to the latter and former, she prefers to slowly empower them unless the situation necessitates a more rapid power-up. Now, I want to state that I did leave certain details out because of spoilers, but nevertheless, this should give you a broad idea of the capabilities of the Undersiders. I guess I should note that none of the Undersiders are movers or brutes, so they are susceptible to the typical things that could kill a human. Anyway, I hope I didn't fumble any of the details. Bye.